Some have called it a Christian revival or outpouring of the Holy Spirit.
It was pretty incredible to see that.
Even for those who experienced it, it's hard to define.
Yeah, revival, outpouring, awakening. I've kind of joked with people, it's picking your adjective, however you want to describe it.
Non-stop worship at a Protestant Christian college in the tiny town of Wilmore, Kentucky continued around the clock for 2 straight weeks. Drew crowds of people from around the country and world, and it was never planned to begin with.
What happened here at Asbury University happened spontaneously, organically, but it did come out of regularly scheduled prayer. 3 days a week, students gather right here in Hughes Auditorium for a chapel service. It was just a typical Wednesday, but this time, it didn't end.
And it's like, whoa, this is happening.
Benjamin Black directs the gospel choir at Asbury University.
Because we're not singing for anyone here, we're singing for the Lord.
They were leading music at the chapel service on the morning of February 8th and were finishing with a song.
The next thing we knew was people just kept staying.
And students who had left started coming back.
And I would stay there for 6 hours.
You just wanted something more, that you just had to be there.
They sought God's mercy and found healing from different wounds.
I feel like the biggest moment.
Senior Kyla Rowell said she had been struggling with feelings of abandonment in some of her relationships. She was praying about that in the Hughes Chapel when a friend she had never shared it with before came over providing consoling words.
Be like, hey, I feel like you're struggling with this, and I just want you to know, you are loved, and, we see you, and, God has not abandoned you in this.
Praying for one another and raising their voices to God.
It was really strange to be in an environment where everybody was talking to him all at once. But at the same time, in that moment, I still felt like it was just me and him talking.
I could just, feel, the presence of the Holy Spirit, and there was just, no part of me wanted to leave.
What began to unfold was captured on social media, gathered more attention, inspired similar events around the country, and continued bringing people to Wilmore.
This town was insane for the past 2 weeks.
And even though the campus was returned to normal a week ago, people are still showing up. This group of friends from Las Vegas and Los Angeles flew to Kentucky for the day. Even though you showed up and there's no revival still happening, you're not disappointed.
No, I'm not disappointed. At least I saw in my eyes the real place where it happened.
My life will never be the same from this experience.
For those who were inside Hughes Auditorium, the experience was authentic.
I felt like the Lord was giving me a lot of consolations.
Including for Catholic priest Father Norman Fisher, who went to check it out after Mass one day.
And as I got out of my car, the Lord was like, you can go ahead and wear your alb and stole.
Inside, a Catholic student asked him for confession. Father Fisher felt the whole room was filled with the Holy Spirit. And he said what happened at Asbury University comes at a time when the Catholic Church in the U.S. has called for Eucharistic revival.
We're in a revival, too. And I think it's important I think we're cross-pollinating here, where God's love is coming through the body of believers, but also in the sacramental life of the church.
Father Fisher is the chaplain at Lexington Catholic High School. A 20-minute drive from Asbury, 2 of his students also visited the revival. Both were inspired.
Revival is the normal. If you walked into Hughes, what you experienced, that's how us Christians should act. We have the Holy Spirit in us. A lot of people were like, it's been going on all the time, it never ends. And I kept thinking about at Christ the King, our cathedral in our diocese, we have a 24-hour adoration chapel. That's the same thing, you can go in at any time of day, doesn't matter when, and you have a place for prayer.
And after the experience at Asbury, Father Fisher says he is reinvigorated to bring others to Christ.
Really have a heart for trying to invite people back to the Mass and have an invitation during this year of revival in the Eucharist, but I'm hungry for them to come back home and get fed.
Mark Irons, EWTN News In Depth.